Talk in English just 1 page per day. Anya stared at her reflection, a knot of frustration tightening in her chest. English felt like an insurmountable mountain, its peaks shrouded in an intimidating mist of grammar and unfamiliar sounds. Her native tongue flowed effortlessly, but English was a relentless struggle she faced daily, challenging her resilience and patience. "Why do I always make mistakes?" she whispered to the glass, her voice barely audible. Every attempt to speak felt like wading through thick mud, words slipping away before they could even form coherently. This constant battle chipped away at her enthusiasm, making her question her intrinsic ability to ever master this complex language. The desire to communicate freely, to understand complex ideas, burned brightly within her. Yet the overwhelming fear of judgment constantly paralyzed her. She longed deeply to talk in English with anyone, but the mere thought alone brought a flush to her cheeks and a tremor to her hands. This was her daily silent torment. She heard about talking to herself at home, a peculiar yet intriguing concept she pondered. Could simply narrating her thoughts, describing ordinary objects, or even planning her mundane day aloud in English truly help break through her shyness? It sounded like a lonely endeavor, but perhaps a necessary first step towards fluency and building confidence. Her very first attempt was profoundly awkward, a hesitant murmur of simple, disjointed phrases. "This is a cup," she stated, feeling utterly foolish. "I am drinking water." The words felt heavy, alien on her tongue, but she persisted, pushing past the initial overwhelming self-consciousness. Consistency, she realized, was her new silent mantra for success. Then came the groundbreaking idea of just 1 page per day. Not speaking but writing her thoughts down. She found an old tattered notebook, dedicating each fresh, blank page to her evolving English thoughts. It was a less intimidating form of practice, allowing for deep reflection and the slow, deliberate, unpressured construction of sentences and ideas. She started diligently detailing her morning routine, describing her breakfast, and observing the weather outside her window. Grammatical errors abounded, but she sternly resisted the urge to immediately correct every single one. The core focus was on consistent output, on breaking free from the paralyzing grip of perfectionism, a crucial step in effectively learning English. This sacred daily page became her personal sanctuary, a private space where mistakes were not viewed as failures, but as invaluable stepping stones. She recognized that every wrong word, every mispronounced phrase, was simply an opportunity to learn and refine. This profound shift in perspective was truly liberating for her progress. Her internal monologue gradually, almost imperceptibly, transitioned to English. While showering, walking through the park, even cooking dinner, she would describe her actions aloud to herself. "I am washing my hair now," she'd think. "The water is wonderfully warm." This constant, immersive self-talk began to reshape her linguistic landscape profoundly. The debilitating fear of making mistakes started to recede, replaced by a growing, insatiable curiosity. She realized with a profound sense of relief that everyone makes errors, especially when learning something entirely new and complex. It was a perfectly natural part of the challenging process, a clear sign of effort, not inadequacy. This realization was truly empowering. She decided to vigorously tackle her listening skills next. Podcasts became her constant companions during her long, daily commutes. She started with simplified news reports, gradually moving to more complex narratives and intricate interviews. Her ears, once overwhelmed by the speed, slowly began to discern individual words and meaningful phrases. Movies with English subtitles, then daringly without, became a cherished daily evening ritual. She'd frequently pause, replay challenging sections, and meticulously try to mimic intonation patterns. This immersive auditory experience dramatically sharpened her comprehension, connecting abstract sounds to concrete meanings in ways textbooks never could. Listening truly transformed her entire learning journey. Reading, she quickly learned, was absolutely indispensable for true mastery. Why you must read English became undeniably clear when she picked up a simple, engaging novel. The continuous flowing text exposed her to natural sentence structures and a vast array of vocabulary in genuine context, far beyond isolated, disconnected word lists. She started with delightful children's books, then progressed to captivating young adult fiction, feeling a surge of accomplishment with each completed chapter. Reading revealed entirely new worlds, novel ideas, and most importantly, effective new ways of expressing her own thoughts in English, enriching her linguistic repertoire immensely and joyfully. How to learn words effectively became her next fervent quest. Rote memorization felt incredibly tedious and largely ineffective for long-term retention. She explored innovative spaced repetition apps, created flashcards with compelling example sentences, and tried to group words by themes or common root words. Contextual learning, she discovered, was undeniably key for robust retention. She began actively noticing new words in her reading and attentive listening, diligently trying to incorporate them into her daily self-talk or her private daily page. This active engagement with vocabulary, moving words from passive recognition to active production, solidly cemented her understanding and significantly improved her overall recall ability. The biggest hurdle remained stubbornly in place: how to talk with anyone in real time. Despite her significant internal progress, the mere thought of real-time conversation with actual native speakers still sent shivers down her spine. The perceived pressure felt immense. The potential for overwhelming embarrassment seemed paralyzing and daunting. She found an incredibly kind online language exchange partner, a patient soul named Liam. Their very first video call was terrifyingly awkward. Anya stumbled over basic words, her face burning with shame, but Liam was remarkably patient, encouraging her gently with a warm smile. His understanding was a calming balm on her raw nerves. "Just keep trying, Anya," he'd consistently say. "Mistakes are just valuable feedback, not failures." His consistent, unwavering reassurance slowly but surely chipped away at her ingrained fear. She realized he wasn't judging her. He was genuinely interested in connecting and helping, a powerful, unexpected motivator for her blossoming confidence. Their conversations grew steadily longer, more fluid and surprisingly enjoyable. Anya found herself actively anticipating their weekly chats, rather than dreading them with anxiety. She started formulating thoughtful questions, preparing interesting topics, and actively participating, not just passively reacting. This regular, authentic interaction was truly transformative for her. She intentionally practiced smiling warmly, making genuine eye contact, and even using expressive hand gestures while speaking. These nonverbal cues helped bridge frustrating gaps when words temporarily failed her, making her feel more connected and less isolated during the conversation. Confidence, once elusive, began to visibly bloom within her. One sunny day in a bustling coffee shop, an English-speaking tourist looked utterly lost. Anya felt a familiar pang of nervous hesitation, but then powerfully remembered Liam's encouraging words and her own significant progress. Taking a deep, resolute breath, she bravely approached him, offering her genuine help. Her voice, though still a little shaky, was remarkably clear. She successfully directed him, explaining local landmarks and tricky bus routes with surprising clarity and growing confidence. The tourist smiled broadly, genuinely grateful for her assistance. That simple, spontaneous interaction, born from a moment of pure courage, felt like a monumental personal victory, profoundly proving her consistent efforts were finally paying off. Anya continued her cherished daily page, now brimming with exciting stories of her small but significant victories. She still made mistakes, of course, they were inevitable, but they no longer defined her identity. They were simply part of the vibrant, ever-evolving tapestry of her ongoing learning journey, celebrated rather than feared or avoided. Her self-talk continued to be a foundational, invaluable practice, a constant rehearsal stage for integrating new vocabulary and refining grammatical structures. It allowed her to experiment freely without pressure, building crucial muscle memory for her spoken English, solidifying her growing confidence in her verbal abilities significantly. Listening remained absolutely paramount for continued growth. She discovered captivating academic lectures, engaging documentaries, and even hilarious stand-up comedy in English, expanding her understanding of diverse accents and complex cultural humor. Her comprehension soared to new heights, allowing her to engage more deeply and critically with all content. Reading became a true, unadulterated pleasure, not just a daunting task. She devoured novels, insightful articles, and online blogs, relishing the sheer beauty and intricate flow of the language. New words seemed to stick effortlessly in her mind, absorbed naturally through repeated exposure in rich, meaningful contexts. She even started teaching others simple English phrases, finding that explaining basic concepts to eager beginners further solidified her own understanding of the language. This empowering act of teaching reinforced her knowledge and boosted her belief in her own capabilities immensely, creating a positive feedback loop. Anya had miraculously transformed from a timid, hesitant learner, consumed by the crippling fear of error, into a confident, articulate communicator. The entire journey, she realized, wasn't fundamentally about eradicating all mistakes, but rather about bravely embracing them as vital, necessary indicators of consistent progress and unwavering commitment. Her burgeoning confidence in speaking no longer wavered. It was built upon a solid bedrock of consistent daily practice. This included the quiet internal monologues, the disciplined daily written page, the active, deliberate listening, and the immersive, joyful reading experiences. Each piece contributed significantly to her overall linguistic strength. The initial, overwhelming frustration had completely dissipated, replaced by a profound, satisfying sense of accomplishment. She realized learning English wasn't a frenzied race to unattainable perfection, but an ongoing, thrilling adventure of self-discovery and genuine connection, rewarding at every single step of the challenging yet fulfilling way. She often reflected on the deceptively simple advice, "Talk in English just 1 page per day." It seemed so incredibly small, yet its cumulative power was undeniably immense. That single page became a living testament to her unwavering dedication, a daily ritual that firmly anchored her consistent, remarkable progress. Talking at home to herself had truly liberated her voice from internal constraints. The mirror became a surprisingly friendly, non-judgmental audience, the empty room a safe, private stage for uninhibited experimentation. This consistent, private practice refined her pronunciation and built fluency without the daunting, paralyzing pressure of external judgment. The initial despair stemming from why I always make mistakes had profoundly morphed into deep understanding. Mistakes were not character flaws or signs of weakness. They were invaluable signposts, precisely guiding her towards better comprehension and more accurate, nuanced expression. They were, she realized, simply learning opportunities in disguise. She discovered that practicing English wasn't strictly confined to a formal classroom setting. It was seamlessly integrated into her daily life. Reading new recipes, listening to her favorite music, watching captivating shows, even mentally planning her grocery list entirely in English. It became a living, breathing, integral part of her every day. Making confidence in speaking wasn't an overnight, magical miracle. It was the gradual, painstaking result of consistently pushing past comfort zones, engaging in small, brave acts of communication, and diligently celebrating tiny victories along the way. Every single spoken word she uttered was a vital brick in its solid foundation. Learning to talk with anyone involved courageously acknowledging vulnerability. It meant accepting that conversations wouldn't always be perfect, but the genuine effort to connect with others transcended mere linguistic imperfections. Empathy, she found, combined with sheer persistence, were her most reliable, unwavering allies in this rewarding journey. Improving her listening skills required immense patience and deliberate, focused effort. It wasn't just about passively hearing words, but deeply understanding subtle nuances, intonation patterns, and complex cultural references within spoken English. Active listening transformed her from a passive receiver of information into an engaged, dynamic participant. How to learn English became less about desperately finding a single best method and more about intuitively creating a personalized, multifaceted approach tailored to her. It involved harmoniously combining speaking, listening, reading, and writing in a dynamic way that profoundly resonated with her individual learning style and preferences. The profound importance of why you must read English was now undeniably crystal clear to her. Reading opened new doors to diverse perspectives, significantly expanded her general knowledge base, and solidified complex grammar patterns in a subconscious, organic way that traditional grammar books never truly could achieve. She mastered how to learn words effectively, moving far beyond simple, isolated definitions. She learned to instinctively associate new vocabulary with vivid images, strong feelings, and relevant personal experiences, embedding them deeply into her memory, making them readily accessible for confident, active recall and practical use in conversation. Her entire English journey was a powerful testament to the transformative power of sheer consistency. Small daily actions, when compounded diligently over time, yielded truly extraordinary, unexpected results. The unwavering discipline of one page, one conversation, one new word, transformed her entire linguistic world completely and utterly. Anya occasionally still felt a familiar twinge of nervousness before speaking, especially when discussing complex, unfamiliar topics. But the overwhelming, paralyzing fear had almost completely vanished. She knew her tools, trusted her established process, and embraced the ongoing adventure of language acquisition with genuine joy and profound curiosity. She often shared her inspirational story, eagerly encouraging others who felt hopelessly trapped by their own perceived language barriers. Start incredibly small, she'd wisely advise. Be kind and patient with yourself. Every single word you utter, every sentence you meticulously write, is undeniable, tangible progress. Celebrate it. The significant ripple effect of her English proficiency extended far beyond just mere communication. It opened up exciting new career opportunities, allowed her to travel much more confidently and independently, and even profoundly expanded her worldview through genuine international friendships and diverse global media consumption. Her consistent advice always centered on finding deep, intrinsic joy in the very process of learning. Learning English shouldn't feel like an arduous chore, but rather an exciting, rewarding exploration. Integrating it seamlessly into her hobbies, interests, and daily life made the entire journey sustainable, engaging, and genuinely enjoyable for her. She vividly remembered the early, silent days, the awkward, fumbling attempts at speaking. Now her confident laughter easily filled rooms during lively conversations with native speakers, her insightful opinions clearly articulated, her unique personality shining brightly through her once hesitant, now articulate words, a true transformation. The why behind her motivation had evolved dramatically too. Initially, it was purely practical necessity. Now it was about achieving genuine human connection, about the sheer unadulterated joy of expressing herself freely and authentically in another language, effortlessly bridging cultural divides with empathy and understanding, a remarkable personal achievement. Anya's inspiring story wasn't one of innate, raw talent, but rather of unwavering dedication, persistent effort, and intelligent strategy application. She wasn't born speaking English fluently. She painstakingly built her fluency, brick by diligent brick, word by deliberate word, through consistent and focused practice over time. She became a living, breathing example of how small, consistent, daily steps inevitably lead to monumental, life-changing transformations. Her quiet confidence radiated outwards, a powerful beacon of hope for anyone who believed language learning was an impossible, unattainable dream, showing them a clear, actionable path forward to success. The journey, she understood, continued, a lifelong pursuit of knowledge, connection, and self-improvement. Anya now knew that every single mistake was an invaluable lesson, every conversation an exciting adventure, and every newly learned word a precious treasure unlocked. Her English story was truly just beginning, filled with endless possibilities. She still meticulously kept her daily page, sometimes writing a full 2 pages now, a habit deeply ingrained and immensely beneficial to her ongoing progress. It was her personal English sanctuary, a tangible testament to how far she had truly come from her incredibly humble linguistic beginnings and initial struggles. Her internal English monologue was so utterly natural now, she barely even noticed it happening anymore. It was simply the way her thoughts often flowed, a testament to complete immersion and profound comfort within the language, a quiet, personal victory she cherished deeply and continuously. Anya's listening skills were now so finely tuned that she could effortlessly pick up on subtle regional accents and complex, nuanced humor. She found immense pleasure in understanding the intricate subtleties of spoken English, deepening her appreciation for its richness and expressive power every single day. Reading complex literature and intricate poetry in English was no longer a daunting struggle, but a profound intellectual delight. She discovered captivating authors and fascinating genres she never knew existed, enriching her intellectual life and significantly expanding her understanding of diverse global cultures through the sheer power of words.